Hi students, in this video we will discuss about the remaining synopsis related to this biomolecules chapter. So till last class we have seen only about the first carbohydrate in your syllabus, that is about the glucose. So glucose preparations and chemical properties and their structures we have seen in last class. Now we will discuss about another important carbohydrate, which is nothing but fructose. Even fructose is an example of monosaccharide because it is the simplest monosaccharide which cannot be further hydrolyzed. So that we can say it is a monosaccharide. Okay, and even its formula is C6H12O6. Both glucose and fructose are containing the same molecular formula. If you observe the occurrence of this fructose can found in ripened fruits and honey. So it can observed or it can be present in ripened fruits and honey. Okay, and next one, it is a levorotatory and it is known as levolose. Okay, so because of rotating the plane polarized light towards left side, it is said to be levorotatory. And even it is called as, because of rotating plane polarized light towards left side, it is named as levolose. Okay, so it contains 3 different types of asymmetric carbon atoms. Total number of asymmetric carbons or chiral carbons are 3. Asymmetric carbon atoms are 3. So because of having 3 asymmetric carbon atoms, total number of optical isomers shown by them is 8. Okay, so because of having 3 asymmetric carbon atoms, totally it can show 8 optically active isomers or compounds can be shown by fructose. Its molecular formula is C6H12O6. In that totally it is containing 3 asymmetric carbon atoms. Because of having 3 asymmetric carbon atoms, total number of optical isomers possible are said to be 8. Okay, it is the sweetest sugar of all the sugars. It is the sweetest one when compared to all other sugars. Now we will discuss about the structure of the fructose. So fructose, initially for fructose also open chain structure was constructed. So in that 6 carbon atoms are present. Okay, so and it is said to be aldohexose. Aldo indicates presence of ketohexose. Keto indicates about the presence of ketonic functional group. It is said to be ketohexose. Keto indicates presence of ketone, hexose indicates presence of 6 carbon atoms. Now I have represented 6 carbons. So ketonic functional group we have to represent at second carbon, second carbon. Okay, this first and 6th carbons are always primary hydroxyl groups. They are polyhydroxy, right? So that first and final 6th carbon atoms are said to be the primary carbon or primary hydroxyl groups. Okay, and on third carbon hydrogen is present on right side, fourth carbon OH, fifth carbon contains OH. So based on these groups on left side you can also write. So here on this carbon its valency is balanced 1, 2, 3, 4. On this carbon one more bond is present on left side OH, and here H, here H. So that is about the structure, open chain structure of fructose. Okay, now we want to construct a cyclic ring structure because even it is containing a cyclic ring structure as like glucose, because even here the ketonic functional group do not show the positive test of glucose because free ketonic group is not present in fructose. Okay, that ketonic group is involved in the formation of a cyclic ring, so that it is not able to show free positive test for the ketonic functional group. Okay, now the ring is made between the first carbon and this 5th carbon. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So first carbon and 5th carbon, the ring is obtained. So now we will write, see, this is the first 5 carbons, it's enough to write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. On this first carbon, if you consider this as first carbon, on first carbon CH2OH is present, write that CH2OH this side, and here this oxygen converts to OH. On next carbon, this is the next carbon. On next carbon, what is present? H on right side, OH on left side. On the next carbon, OH on right side, hydrogen on left side. On the next carbon, OH on right side, H on left side. On the last carbon atom, OH will not be present. So that oxygen is involved in the formation of cyclic ring, and remaining 2 hydrogens it will be containing. Remember, so CH2OH, in that hydrogen reacted with this oxygen exists as OH, and oxygen involved in the formation of a cyclic ring. That means on this carbon atom 2 hydrogens are present. CH2 we will write like this. Okay, now based on the OH group presence on first carbon atom, we can say whether it is alpha isomer or beta isomer. If you observe the first carbon, this is first carbon now. On this first carbon atom, OH is present on which side? Right side. So we can call it as alpha D fructose. We can call it as alpha D fructose. This is first type of cyclic ring. Now, if suppose CH2OH comes on right side, OH comes on left side, we will get another cyclic ring structure. First, second, third, fourth, fifth. Now, here CH2OH and here OH. On third carbon, what is present? H. This side OH and here OH. Here H. This side H, this side OH. Now the oxygen will make a bond with this fifth carbon atom, 2 hydrogens can present. Okay, this is another cyclic ring structure. In this cyclic ring structure, OH group is present on which side? Left side. If OH group is present on left side, then that is said to be beta D fructose. Okay, it is called as beta D fructose. This is called alpha D fructose. Understand? So that is about the cyclic rings of fructose. Even in the fructose, the ketonic functional group is not in free state. Even it is involved in the formation of a cyclic ring. Okay, now the bond is made, or cyclic ring is made between the first carbon atom and the fifth carbon atom. Okay, now we will discuss about the Hayward structures of this alpha D fructose and beta D fructose. Okay, so it is also exist in pyranose, as well as it can also show furanose. Pyranose is a 6-membered cyclic ring which contains 5 carbon atoms and 1 oxygen. First we will see pyranose structure. Okay, so even in this side, OH is present on which side? Right side. So right side groups always we want to represent on below the plane of ring. Okay, right side groups we want to represent on below the plane. So above the plane 1 bond, below the plane 1 bond. On all the carbon atoms 2 bonds are present. One is above the plane, other is below the plane. Remember, right side groups, write it on below the plane. This is below the plane. Okay, on below the plane we have to write OH at the first carbon. Consider this as first carbon, second, third, fourth, fifth. At first carbon OH. Now this is first carbon. First carbon OH is present on right side, write down. And second carbon H is present. And third carbon OH is present. Fourth carbon is also OH. Fifth carbon is containing 2 hydrogens. Okay, write any 1 hydrogen below the plane. Understand? Now the left sided groups should be written on the above the plane. What is present at first carbon left side? CH2OH, right? CH2OH. And second carbon OH, and third carbon H, and fourth carbon H, fifth carbon H. So this is alpha D fructopyranose. Okay, this is alpha D fructopyranose, which is said to be Hayward structure. Okay, now in the same manner we want to write for beta D fructopyranose. It is also 6-membered cyclic ring. The right-handed side group should be written on below the plane of ring. Okay, on right hand, first carbon contains CH2OH. Second carbon contains hydrogen. Third carbon contains OH. Fourth carbon contains OH. Fifth carbon contains H. On left side, first carbon contains OH. Second carbon OH. Third carbon H. Fourth carbon H, fifth carbon H. Okay, these two are said to be Haworth structures. Okay, this is beta D fructopyranose and this is beta D alpha D fructopyranose. In the same manner, it also contains furanose structures. Okay, now we'll see furanose structure. So furanose is said to be a 5-membered cyclic ring, okay, which contains 4 carbon atoms and 1 oxygen atom. So these are the fructopyranose structures. So in this case, OH is present below the plate, so we can call it as alpha fructopyranose. And here OH is present above the plane, then it is called beta fructopyranose. Furanose. So these two are the furanose structures, these two are the pyranose structures. Here OH is present on below the plane, then we can call it as alpha. Here OH is present on above the plane, then it is called beta fructopyranose. These two are pyranose structures and these two are the furanose structures. These are very much important. Now we will discuss the next topic. So about next carbohydrate is cane sugar. This cane sugar is also known as sucrose. Sucrose formula we know that is C12H22O11. So in nature it can occur especially in cane sugar and as well as in beetroot. So the occurrence of cane sugar is sucrose is in cane sugar as well as in beetroot. It is also found in honey, pineapple, bananas and several other ripened fruit. Most of the ripened fruits contains this sucrose again. Okay, so molasses is another is mother liquor which is obtained after crystallization of sugar, even that contains little amount of sucrose. Okay, and it is a colorless, crystalline, solid and highly soluble in water. Okay, so this is a colorless crystalline solid which is highly soluble in water. That is about the properties, characteristic properties of cane sugar. So now we will discuss about the structure of this sucrose. Sucrose is containing one glucose unit and one fructose unit. So fructose unit is present in the form of pyranose. Okay, it's present in the form of furanose, not pyranose. First we will take a glucose unit. Okay, so on glucose we will be having 2 bonds on each carbon atom. Okay, first write all those bonds present on the each carbon atom. Okay, at below the plane it should be containing OH group. So that OH group in glucose is present at which carbon? Here I have given the structures of glucose. Okay, on glucose, in alpha D glucose, OH is present on the below the plate. So that OH here I am not representing at the first carbon because that is involved in the formation of a bond. So then take pyranose structure of fructose. Furanose structure of fructose. Okay, here H here and CH2OH here. Again it is alpha. H, OH, OH, H and here CH2OH. Hydrogen present here is involved in the formation of H2. Oxygen of this carbon is making a linkage with the pyranose structure of fructose. Okay, furanose structure of fructose. So this is the linkage which is present in cane sugar between the glucose and fructose. This is glucose unit and this is fructose unit. Both are involved in linkage, can form this sucrose which is present in cane sugar as well as in beetroot. Okay, now we will see the main properties. Whenever this sucrose involved in hydrolysis, it can give 1 unit of glucose and 1 unit of fructose. Okay, clear? So it leads to give 1 unit of glucose and 1 unit of fructose. So the hydrolysis of cane sugar is called inversion. Okay, so because an equimolar mixture of glucose and fructose is called invert sugar. Okay, equimolar mixture of glucose and fructose is called invert sugar, and the process is called inversion. Invert sugar is sweeter than the sucrose. Whatever the invert sugar is obtained, that is sweeter than the sucrose due to the presence of fructose. Okay, in that invert sugar we can see the presence of fructose. Okay, clear? So, and this sucrose is said to be a dextrorotatory. Okay, sucrose is a dextrorotatory. But the invert sugar whatever is obtained after hydrolysis process, that invert sugar is levorotatory. Okay, that invert sugar is levorotatory in nature. So that is about the main important matter related to this cane sugar. Now we'll see its non-reducing nature. Sucrose does not containing a free aldehydic or free ketonic group. Okay, in sucrose there is no free aldehyde and free ketonic group, so it does not show mutarotation and it does not reduce Fehling solution and Tollens reagent. That's why cane sugar or sucrose is not reducing in nature, it is non-reducing sugar. Okay, so cane sugar or sucrose is always non-reducing in nature, it is non-reducing sugar. Clear? Next one, another important carbohydrate is nothing but maltose. Okay, this is also known as malt sugar. Maltose is also known as malt sugar. Even its formula is C12H22O11. So again the maltose and malt sugar is containing the molecular formula as C12H22 and O11. It is obtained by the action of enzyme diastase present in the germinated barley or starch. Okay, so germinated barley, whenever it is treated with the diastase enzyme, it can be converted into maltose. Okay, and it is white crystalline solid. It is a white crystalline solid, and it has a melting point of 160 degrees Celsius. It is highly soluble in water. It is highly soluble in water. These are the important characteristics of this maltose. Okay, the solution rotate the plane polarized light towards right side, then it is said to be dextrorotatory. Maltose is also dextrorotatory because the solution of malt sugar can rotate the plane polarized light towards right side. That's why it is said to be dextrorotatory in nature. Okay, so it is about a third important sweet as cane sugar. Okay, third important one, it is about the third as sweet as cane sugar. Cane sugar is nothing but sucrose, but it is the most sweetest sugar present in the carbohydrates and it is reducing in nature. Okay, maltose is reducing sugar, which can reduce its Fehling solution as well as the Tollens reagent, and even it can show the phenomenon mutarotation. It can also show the phenomenon mutarotation on hydrolysis with dilute HCl or enzyme maltase. Okay, this maltose on hydrolysis in presence of dilute HCl or enzyme maltase, so it gives 2 moles of glucose. That means this maltose is made up of 2 glucose units, glucose monomeric units. When 2 glucose units combine together, it leads to give maltose. That's why whenever this maltose undergo hydrolysis in presence of dilute HCl or in the presence of maltase, that maltose can be divided into 2 monosaccharides, that is nothing but glucose. So now we will take the glucose units, alpha glucose units. Okay, so each carbon is containing 2 bonds. On this first carbon I am representing only 1 bond because another bond is involved in the formation of linkage. This is first carbon H and OH, second carbon H and OH, and third carbon OH above the plane, H below the plane. On fourth carbon I am representing only 1 bond, other one is involved in linkage. On fifth carbon, above the plane CH2OH always present and below the plane hydrogen is present. So these two are the two alpha glucomeric units. Okay, so this oxygen involved in bond formation with this, and during the formation of this linkage one H2O molecule is released. So this is one glucose unit and this is another glucose unit. When these two glucose units combine by losing one water molecule, then it leads to give the structure of maltose. This is the structure of maltose. That's why whenever maltose involves in hydrolysis, further hydrolysis in presence of dilute HCl or in presence of enzyme, maltase enzyme, it can be divided into two glucomeric units or 2 units of glucose is obtained. Okay, so that is about maltose. Now we will discuss about the next important sugar. See, this maltose is used in the manufacture of malted milk. Okay, it is used in the preparation of malted milk. Now we will discuss about the another important carbohydrate. So next important carbohydrate is nothing but lactose. So this lactose formula is C12H22O11 and it is also known as milk sugar. So its molecular formula C12H22O11 and it is also called as milk sugar. So and its melting point is 203 degrees Celsius and it is having this kind of structure. So two glucose units involved in bond formation or linkage and can be converted into lactose structure. Whenever this lactose undergo hydrolysis, it can be converted into 1 mole of D-glucose and 1 mole of D-galactose. Okay, this is about the information related to this lactose. Now we want to discuss about the another important one is nothing but starch. Okay, so that starch is also known as amylum and its formula is C6H10O5 taken N. C6H10. So the next sugar is or carbohydrate is starch. So this starch is having the molecular formula C6H10O5 taken N. So it is an example of polysaccharide or an important polysaccharide. Its general formula is C6H10O5 taken N, whereas N here is equals to 200 to 1000 units. Okay, it's a big number, so that it is said to be a polysaccharide. That means on hydrolysis it leads to give more than, that means many monosaccharidic units, so that we can say it is a polysaccharide. It consists of alpha glucose. It consists of alpha glucose and it is made up of two components, that is amylose and aminopectin. So this polysaccharide is made up of two important components. One is amylose, other one is aminopectin. Aminopectin. So these are the two important components present in this polysaccharide. First we will see what is amylose. So it is a linear polymer containing alpha glucose in the structural units. Okay, and this amylose is soluble in water. It is containing linear glucose, linear polymer of glucose units and soluble in water. It is soluble in water. Whereas amylopectose or aminopectin, this aminopectin is insoluble in water. It is insoluble part which is present in the polysaccharide, that is starch, and it is made up of short branched chain of alpha glucose. Even it is containing alpha glucose, but it is containing a polymer of alpha glucose, whereas it is containing short chain of alpha glucose. Okay, one is completely soluble in water, other part is insoluble in water. It is an important carbohydrate in our diet. Okay, aminopectin is the important carbohydrate which is present in our diet. It is found in plants and reserved food material. Okay, so it is mainly, aminopectin is mainly present in the plants. So like rice, wheat, etc. contain 15 to 20% of starch. Rice is the richest source of starch. Rice is the richest source of this starch. Glycogen is a polymer of glucose. This glycogen is also said to be one of the polymer of glucose, which is known as animal starch, which is present in the liver. Glycogen is one of the isomer of glucose. Mainly the glycogen is present in the animal, especially in the liver. It functions reserve carbohydrate in animals. Now we'll discuss about the properties of that starch. Starch is a white amorphous powder with no odor and taste. Okay, it is a tasteless and odorless. Tasteless and odorless. It is white in color and amorphous solid. White in color and amorphous solid. It is insoluble in water. Insoluble in water. Soluble starch is prepared by heating ordinary starch with 10% of HCl for 24 hours. So whenever this normal starch is heated with the HCl for 24 hours, insoluble starch can be converted into soluble starch. Whenever the starch involves in hydrolysis on heating dilute HCl, it can be converted into dextrin. C6H10O5 taken N. Whenever it is heated in dilute acid, it may be HCl or H2SO4. It can be converted into C6H10O5 taken N. Another isomer of this starch which is known as dextrin. So this dextrin on again reaction with dilute HCl or dilute acid, it can be converted into N moles of C6H12O6, which is nothing but glucose. That means this starch is made up of N number of glucomeric units or glucose units. So next important carbohydrate is nothing but cellulose. This cellulose is having the general molecular formula that is C6H10O5 taken N. So again this is the general molecular formula of cellulose. So the cellulose is said to be one of the most important constituent present in the cell wall of plants. So this is the most important constituent present in the cell wall of plants. The main source of cellulose is cotton and wood. Okay, so main important source is cotton and wood. Both are containing this cellulose as an important carbohydrate. Cellulose is the most abundant carbohydrate in nature. Cellulose is the most abundant carbohydrate which is present in the nature. The cellulose is having beta glycosidic linkage between beta glucose units. That means it is made up of beta glucose. It is made up of beta glucose. So whenever this beta glucose involved in beta glycosidic linkage, and that beta glucose units are converted into this cellulose. Cellulose is useful product like gun cotton, cellulose, acetate, rayon, etc. So such type of useful products can be prepared by using this cellulose. If you come to the properties of cellulose, okay, properties of cellulose. So the cellulose is a white color, amorphous solid, white color amorphous solid which is tasteless substance. There is no taste. Okay, it is fibrous substance and insoluble in water. It is insoluble in water, and the animals can digest the cellulose. Okay, due to the insolubility and in water and organic solvents. Okay, this is insoluble in water as well as in the organic solvents. Okay, it dissolves a solution of cupric hydroxide in ammonia. That is called. So the main important properties of the cellulose is it is a white color, amorphous, tasteless, fibrous carbohydrate which is completely insoluble in water as well as in organic solvent. Okay, on hydrolysis this cellulose can be converted into n number of monomeric units of glucose. Cellulose formula we know C6H10O5 taken N. Whenever it undergo hydrolysis with n number of water molecules on heating with dilute acid, it can be converted into n moles of C6H12O6, that is nothing but glucose. It can be converted into n moles of glucose units. Okay, clear? So that is about this hydrolysis of cellulose. So with this carbohydrate part of this biomolecule chapter is completed. In next class we will discuss about another important biomolecules present in your syllabus. So now try to solve the bits present in your book based on the synopsis whatever I have given, which is related to this carbohydrates. So under carbohydrates, the most important carbohydrates is nothing but glucose and fructose. Specifically concentrate on the properties and preparations of glucose and fructose, as well as about the structures of glucose, fructose, including other carbohydrates.